from the bowels of the Smith Center, AJ. I think that's a pretty accurate description of where we're at right now.
I use that word every once in a while. Yeah, I like that.
It's accurate, man. We're doing another daily drop. I know the people that watch the Three Things video after UNC's win over Virginia Tech already know that we're doing this because we talked about it a couple times. But here for a quick daily drop regarding Carolina's week, kind of what it looks like moving ahead. What'd you say? What you got?
If anybody's in the back hallway, this is the Virginia Tech locker room, literally right there. Okay.
Yep.
And and the press room is right over there. So the hallway looks like this.
It's the VIP tour right here.
Carolina stuff up here, and the press room is that door over there. And the visiting team walks out here. They see the locker room right there. Mm-hmm. They walk out. They go through here. That's the hallway by the Bulls room, which is also the practice gym.
Yep, to the right. Yep.
I guess certain people that have lower bowl seats sit down there, and the tunnel is, I don't know if you can see my hand, the tunnel is that way. That's where we're now into the court. So this is pretty cool. Get people to see some of this stuff here.
Yeah, a lot of history behind you right now.
They don't get a chance to see it. It's really, really cool stuff. You get Bradford. Can I do Bradford?
Yeah, you can see him right to the right. Yep, right there. Yeah. Love that. I always seem to notice.
Right across the way. Can you see all that?
Oh yeah, I can see that 2009 national championship team right there.
You got Obama with Roy. You got all kinds of great stuff.
A lot of history in that hallway, man. It's a lot of history in that hallway. Yeah, not a bad resume right there, is it?
I mean, they really know how to do it here with that stuff.
Yeah, they do. A little VIP tour of the bowels of the Smith Center.
If you come to a game here and come to a tour, you know they've done a thing or two in this place.
Oh yeah, no doubt about that. It's hard to miss it when you walk around this place. But AJ, like I mentioned a second ago, we're going to do a quick drop, just kind of talking about the week ahead. I know you asked Hubert, kind of were able to squeeze in the last question in his press conference after the Virginia Tech game about, hey, what does this week look like for you guys? I'll just let people know what's on Monday. Now, Hubert said they have a Special Olympics kind of event on Monday, which I think the team does just about every year. And then I'll let you take it away for what the rest of the week looks like for North Carolina.
Yeah, well, first of all, kudos to Kirsch for letting me get that last question in.
He did. He didn't have to do that.
I'm glad I got it in because I asked RJ and Armando what the schedule was for this week, and they didn't know. So I guess it's Special Olympics stuff on Sunday. The team is off otherwise. And Monday will be, a shoot around, but more than just a shoot around. Be a sort of an intense shoot around, a little bit of work. Tuesday they're going to work on themselves. Wednesday they do film, a lot of film, work on themselves. They might do light work Wednesday, and then Thursday and Friday is back to normal. And Friday they practice and then head on up to Charlottesville. So we'll have Hubert on the ACC conference call on Zoom for 10 minutes Monday morning, and then we'll have Hubert here in person at the Smith Center Friday before filing and then heading on up to Charlottesville. So that's their last game outside the state of North Carolina until the ACC tournament. And Scribes are happy that travel and cover the team because I don't have to hop on a plane for a while, which is good. I'm kind of airplaned out right now. In fact, if they get Charlotte, I won't have to hop on a plane until the Sweet 16 if they advance that far. So
it's not bad.
I'm not hating on that. I'm cool with that. So that's the plan for this week. Get their legs back. Work on a few things. They got to work on some defense. They really got to work on some defense, and I think that'll be the primary focus. They got to get back to that edge they played defense with during the 10-game win streak. They really do because they have not been very good defensively since then. The 6 games in a row now that they have been, a C-plus defensive team, probably a C defensive team. And during that win streak, they were an A- at worst defensive team. So who are they? They're probably somewhere in the middle. And I think that if this team could score, get the kind of shots that it should get. There goes Kevin. Kevin's on his way home. Safe travels. If you know about Kevin, you saw the 3 Things video. I think if they could play B plus defense the rest of the way, and they could pop a little bit on offense, and they don't get tired, and Hubert does play the bench, doesn't let this team wear out, then I think they have a chance to do a lot of stuff this year. They've got a lot more winnable games to play against very good teams. So this is a really, really important week, Jacob. They have to get something out of their self-work this week because once they get into the routine of the season, it's mostly preparing for opponents. You don't have a lot of time to work on yourself. So this is an extremely important week for them to trim some of the fat of some stuff that ain't working and maybe add a thing or two. And for Hubert to hammer down on these guys, remember that defensive team that you were in January? Well, they need to come through that door because we haven't seen them since they went to Atlanta. So that's what this week's about. It's a very important week. I would say, gosh, I know some people will get on me for saying something like this, but I think the team that they are moving forward, whatever needs fixing will be born out of this week. Either it's not fixed or it is fixed, and they become, again, legitimate title contenders. If they don't fix the defense the way it's been, they're not going to win a national championship. They have to get better on defense.
And we've seen them be better too. So it's not like you're asking them. It's not like you're asking them to do something.
Teams in America.
Yeah,
they haven't. They haven't been rotten, but I think that when you have some streaky shooters in your team, and there are times teams can bottle up Armando, and RJ goes into 23 shot mode, which he has to, then you got to win on defense in those nights. So if they don't bring that level of defense every night, they're going to find that game where those things happen and they get bounced.
Oh, yeah.
So this is about moving the whole season forward. I talked about the dog days. Dog days are over now. Yeah. Dog days are in the past. They're back there.
Yeah.
So this team needs to morph into its March self, and this week's going to play a huge part in them doing so.
Yeah, and the last thing I'll say on that too, because we talked a lot about fatigue during three things, and it's something you've kind of noted, with when you look at the stretch that Carolina had, particularly before the Virginia Tech game. And I think just having that week off could lead to a lot better defensive performance, because we the amount of times we talked about it on Press Row with the Virginia Tech game of like, it's easy to have a little bit more energy when you got the ball in your hands and you can go score and write up the stat sheet a little bit. But when you're a little bit fatigued as a team, you're not really going to necessarily – you can notice it on the offensive end, and it happens, but more so you're going to notice that fatigue on the defensive end more so. And I think that's what we've seen with this team. So it could be as simple as, hey, a week off, get to relax a little bit, get to recover a little bit before you go to Charlottesville. That alone could give this team a lot more energy on the defensive end, which could translate to a better defensive performance. So we'll see, but I think that is something to keep in mind.
I'm gonna change what I'd said a couple times here in the last week or so. I thought that they needed the open date a little earlier in the year, and I thought that's when it come too late because it allowed for some bad stuff to seep in and suddenly become who they are. Let's face it, defensively they haven't been great for 6 games now. The win streak was 10 games, so that's more than half of what of the win streak period they have been defensively. So the open date now really does come at a good time. So I'm going to change my tune on that, and I'm going to say, okay, I was wrong before. I thought they just needed time off before. But now, because they need to fix their defense, I think it comes at a good time. They're still going to get a rest. They need to fix the defense. Hubert will do some, and the staff will do some self-evaluation. I would think that part of that self-evaluation is going to include, we got some guys on the bench here that if we give them 8, 10, 12 minutes a game, they can produce. Jalen Washington gave him good minutes today. It wasn't just because he had dunks, but I like the fact that he is dunking and he's still working on his body, and he's not a finished product by any means, but you saw confident play from him. He's got to work on his defense down the post, but you know what? He battled. Jalen Withers had that missed throwback. He was going to throw that thing down and just rip him out of the bat.
Yeah, that was tough.
And he missed it. So he's going to hear about that for a week and maybe longer than that. I'm sure longer than that. But the break does come at a good time. So now that it's here, I'm saying this is the right time for it, because I don't know who else has another break the rest of the way. But if you want to be a title contender and you got some stuff to rein in, you got a lot of leaves in your yard that need raking, right now is the time to do it. And this is good for them. So I think that they should get a lot out of this.
Yeah, I agree. And we'll see what happens. And I don't know if going up to Charlottesville is a great barometer to measure how successful the week was, but
I think it is. I think it is because at some point, I think this team is built to beat UVA, because UVA has to guard the whole floor with Carolina. They haven't taken a lot of teams in there that you had to guard the whole floor lately. Now, I will say national title team in 17 scored like 46 points or 44 points or something like that there. It happens. That was also a much better UVA team, in my opinion. So I think this is a great time to go up there. They're going to have to deal with much bigger tasks moving forward if they're going to achieve their overall goals. If they're going to hang stuff up there, they're going to have to beat UVA again in DC. They would have to beat Duke maybe twice, or beat them on a neutral floor as well. And if you want to be the kind of team that can beat UConn and Purdue and Arizona and Tennessee again and some of those clubs, well, you should be able to go to UVA and handle that, because UVA, even though the Wahoos have played a lot better, I don't think that they're classic Tony Bennett team. So I actually think it's a great place for this team to go. And if that'll get their attention too, because every guy in that room knows what it's like to go play the Python. You get strangled, the Python will strangle you there. So they understand. So that'll get their attention. I think might help them to have a productive week, and even more productive.
Yeah. We'll see what happens on Saturday. I know you'll be up there for it, but got a few days in between then and there. So hope all the Carolina fans enjoy a nice, relaxing week. No midweek game. Don't have to stress about Carolina, winning or losing. So we'll go ahead and head out of here. AJ, I've been Jacob Turner. He's been Andrew Jones. Another daily drop. More podcasts coming this week. So stay tuned. Appreciate y'all watching as always. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell too, so you know every single time we upload. See y'all next time. Thanks.